let's go over to Battlefield 2042 real quick, because there was an interesting controversy that popped up. First of all, Battlefield 2042 is coming out October 22nd. It's going to be on current gen, or last gen and current gen now, with PS5 and Xbox Series X, getting 128 person battles, which is interesting. I'm going to get this Battlefield game because I do like the Battlefield series. I haven't liked it recently, but I feel like this one could be a lot of fun. But we have to see the gameplay tomorrow. But there will be no single player, and it is going to be a $70 game for the PS5 and the Series X, which got a lot of people talking about the value of this game. And it is a lot of back and forth on it. So I figure we quickly go over, what do you guys think of a Battlefield game? No single player, no campaign, just multiplayer. And it is going to be the $70 price.
I think it's a complex issue. There's really no right or wrong. If I'm EA and I look at the metrics of my actual user base, the majority of players didn't play the campaign when we had implemented them in the previous Battlefield game. So now you as the company are going to say, why are we going to waste development resources and time creating a campaign that no one's playing? Let's focus on the multiplayer. So that's what we did, and we released a multiplayer game. Then it comes down to the discussion of, you're charging full price, you're charging $70 plus like season passes or something.
So here's the other interesting thing. There's no free upgrade. You have to buy the $100 version if you want to get it on the PS4. And then you're thinking, okay, I'm going to get a PS5 for Christmas. I mean, this is strategically placed, coming out October 22nd. So if you want to play it then, but you're thinking you're going to get a PS5 or the next Xbox for Christmas, you might as well get the $100 version, basically. There's no free upgrade because, and then something Sony's going to have to deal with. Remember, with these cross-gen games, you can't just make 160 and like 170 and then have a free upgrade because everyone will buy the PS4 version.
Yes.
So yeah.
I mean, that complicates things. And if I'm EA, yes, I'm pricing this at $70. And us as consumers, especially the majority of the people on this panel, most of us don't play Battlefield games like the active community. But that active community is probably looking at this saying, I put in hundreds of hours, the $70 price is justified to me. It's not that big of a deal. And that's where it's torn, is that it does feel like a lot of the vocal group that's coming out against the price probably doesn't play Battlefield games all that much. And this game isn't going to win you over. You're not going to buy it. That's fine. Exercise that right. But the majority of players who do care about Battlefield, they're the streamers. They are the ones who are committed. They're probably going to pick it up for $70 because all they played was multiplayer to begin with. So there is no loss in content to them.
Right. So I mean, I'll say I think the Call of Duty campaigns are better than Battlefield's anyway. So
I like Battlefield 1
Bad Company 2
a lot.
was legit though.
Bad Company 2, yes, but they're never going to make a Bad Company 3 because they hate me too much. Go on.
Yeah.
I made a whole video about this, and it actually got kind of mixed reception. It got downvote bombed a little bit, but a lot of people were agreeing with me because something about a $70 game with no single player and no battle royale. It is only big map multiplayer. I don't know. Something about that feels weird.
I don't mind the no battle royale thing because I'm old and I don't care about that thing. But like, I mean, it's already going to have 128 people in like a map, battling it out, Battlefield style 64 on. Or
isn't there only
64,
like
I guess
7 or 8 maps anyway? Like
it's 7 maps.
Yeah. And they've already announced that there's gonna be a battle pass, and like they're already getting into all the monetization stuff. There's the $110 version, even beyond the gold ultra plus, version. Is it's EA doing EA things. But I've been waiting. What's that?
I spoke with a friend of mine who's a big fan of the series, because my big gripe, before multiplayer, I'm a big single player, person. And the fact that like, I'm really torn on this issue because I've enjoyed Battlefield's multiplayer here and there, right? Like I do think it's really great. And when you're working with, a team of people or your friends you're playing with, it can be fantastic. But over the last few games, the campaigns have been either really weirdly done or just plain out bad. Battlefield 5 had like 5 or so campaigns that were short, and 2 of them were good. 2 of the 5 were like, oh, that was really fun. The rest were kind of just, And so I'm like, do I want a campaign or do I want no campaign? Like, what would I just rather take at that point? But I don't know, like the multiplayer, like there's so many cool things that excite me about it from like what they've talked about and everything, but
dynamic weather?
Like that looks pretty cool. That's cool. I could swing around a tornado. Like that's
this tornado shoots down in the middle of the battlefield while you guys are all fighting. 128 people running around it. Like that sounds kind of fun.
That does sound fun, but is that $70 up front fun? Is that seeing the same 7 maps fun? Is that is that fun getting a battle pass? Like there's I don't know. There's a lot there that I'm just kind of like, I don't know. As this may not be a day one purchase.
I could see this being a lot of fun with friends. Like, I feel like if all of us jumped in and were like, let's go play Battlefield, all of us were just gonna run through it. Like, that could be fun.
Like, this concept isn't something new for EA. We saw this with Titanfall. Titanfall released without a single player campaign. Yes, you had like these handful of missions that took all of like 2 hours to play in the original Titanfall, but it was just a multiplayer only game. Then fans, they said, we want a campaign. They made Titanfall 2. Guess what? Nobody bought that game.
But it's not the best campaign.
But they made the best campaign.
They did. They made a really good one.
They made an outstanding campaign, but no one bought the game, so no one played the amazing campaign. And
that's because EA sabotaged their own game.
They sabotaged it with the whole release schedule of that game.
Yeah, so they can buy them at a cheaper price and put out Apex. Yeah.
Okay, so here's
on this too. Yep.
Yeah, I have a group of friends, obviously outside of just my streaming thing, that I've been gaming with since before I even started streaming. And they're really into just the multiplayer. Like getting them to play single player games is almost impossible. No matter how much I tell them, oh, the story's gonna be amazing, you'll love the characters, the story, like the climax to the whatever. It just doesn't appeal to them. Versus Battlefield and stuff like that. They're like, oh, dude, this looks so good, and the weather and everything really got their interest. But like, there's a certain amount of people, they just don't really care about the single player, and I think they are trying to market more towards that side of gaming. And also my other perspective is, if they're focusing more on just the multiplayer, like they're going to have a lot more resources and focus onto that multiplayer versus kind of dividing it up and maybe having a subpar single player and subpar multiplayer. Like, these maps are going to be hopefully detailed and effort put in and really impactful. But I think it's because they're not dividing focus on trying to make a somewhat good single player too, which sucks. But again, it's I don't think it'll continuously be a thing. I think it's an ebb and flow. Like, we have a lot of really awesome single player games, but maybe this is just a time where the multiplayer gets people into Battlefield, and hopefully it's a good one. People want to stay with the series.
So I think it's time to bring this up because I've learned that Sean has only played one Halo campaign.
I've never beat him.
Never beaten him. Never beaten the Halo campaigns. He only plays the multiplayer. So Sean is the perfect person to ask about this because you're the person who buys the game for the multiplayer.
I do like the Battlefield series. I would like to see gameplay from it before deciding whether it's going to be $70. Look, people are going to have to eventually get over the $70 thing because it's here to stay. And I mean, we've had games that were online only multiplayer games sell for $60, and people just bought them if they wanted to buy them, and they didn't if they didn't want to buy them. I do feel like the outrage is a bit over the top. Like, I didn't talk about it on my channel because I didn't care. Like, to me, if that game is worth $70 to you, cool, go buy it. If not, be reserved, be informed about it. If the gameplay looks good to you, then I mean, and the Battlefield games you're going to sink a ton of time into that online multiplayer if you're a fan of that style of game. So, I mean, you want to sit here and have that debate. Are you going to get more than 8 to 10 hours out of that Battlefield game? Probably. So wouldn't that be worth more than Ratchet and Clank?
I was about to say that. Yep.
How dare you?
I was about to bring that up.
Yeah. How many maps did Bad Company 2 have? Because I think I have 1,500 hours in that game. So.
I know I have thousands and thousands of hours into just Halo 3. So, I mean, if I really got into Battlefield and I spent hundreds of hours in the multiplayer, it's obviously worth more to me than Ratchet and Clank.
I mean, I probably I probably have like 40 hours into the Splatoon's both DLC and mainline Splatoon single player, but I have like 2,000 hours into the multiplayer. So it's just some people they want
that single player though.
Of course. Like if I get both, and with the amount of work they're putting in, oh my god.
But what if the multiplayer had to be worse to have a single player?
I mean, from what we've seen already, I highly doubt that.
What if that was the trade-off? The multiplayer has to be worse in some way to get you a single player.
If they told you right now that was the case,
worth it.
I think that there would be a lot of people who, like from the competitive side of things that would be pretty disappointed. Is Battlefield very competitive? I don't know too much about Battlefield specifically.
It's huge on streaming, and it's just big.
I don't know if I'd call it competitive.
Like, do tournaments?
I don't know if I'd call it competitive at that scale. It's just utter chaos at that amount of people.
Yeah.
It's really fun though when it works well.
Like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
good for streaming though. A lot of people. I do watch streamers play the game, and it's fun to watch.
It's countless hours too, because the players themselves kind of create the content outside of the game. But it's also like people want to come home from work and sit down and play a couple games. Like they don't want to have to be like, okay, where was I in the story? Like I have to pick this up and then find a place to stop. Like they just want to play a couple games, you know, and go to bed, you know, and that's the kind of gamer.
Dude bro gamers, remember the dude bro gamers?
Evan, you see that? Yeah, go ahead, Sean.
Why is $10 such a big fucking deal? I've seen it.
Because not everybody gets 70, 80, 90K views per video every single day. 100K views, my boy.
I see it in the
Not
chat.
everybody gets that.
But the thing of it is did these people not play Super Nintendo? Did they not play Sega Genesis? Did they not play?
Nope, they weren't alive.
Nope. I mean, $100. Did they not play the N64? It's all
18 years old,
it's all
John.
these disc-based motherfuckers that ruin gaming.
Whoa.
And then it was what?
You have to understand the
You were
Xbox
born in
360
2000.
is basically retro now.
That's crazy.
You know, people, if you're 19, 20, 21, you know you were born into
You're born during the GameCube.
You were
I don't talk to people that age. We got nothing in common. You born after 2000. Don't talk to me. We don't have no sort of
You
discussion.
sound like a boomer. You sound like a boomer.
There's no
Wearing a Virtua Fighter
$95
outfit.
for Chrono Trigger.
I mean, I think it's worth understanding that gaming is a very expensive hobby. So it's I get what you're saying, Sean, especially since cartridges used to be like $80 back in the 90s.
So it's very.
I wanted to clarify, Sean, with what I was saying earlier. I have no problem paying $70 for a game that I'm like, okay, I really want to get into this, right? But my problem is like, do I want to spend $70 on Battlefield if I'm not sure about it, right? That was my only stance. I wasn't personally complaining about everything's $70.
Hopefully they do a short little demo time period or something.
Everyone thinks I'm being dead ass.
Let me get Max in here. We say
I just want to say I get really annoyed. Specifically, my thing now is if it's a $70 game and they're talking about DLC before the fucking thing comes out. If you're talking about season passes and stuff, that drives me nuts. I paid $70 for Ratchet and Clank. I beat the game in about 9.5 hours, and it's actually a Game of the Year contender for me. I enjoyed it that much. But $70, same price tag for Battlefield, which I'm probably going to play longer, still feels like less value because I know there's going to be stupid cosmetic weed skins.
See, it sounds horrible. I'm almost opposite. Like I'm gonna pick up Ratchet and Clank, but I know it's a one and done for me kind of thing. Like I don't care at 100% it. So for me, it's like, oh, I want to see the capabilities and the characters and
that's why you're buying it physically.
Huh?
Or digital?
Me?
Are you physically or
No,
digitally?
Physically.
Okay, and then you could take that $70 game, sell it to someone for $50, and then you only spent $20 on it. Keep the physical alive, fuckers! Quit buying the digital stuff.
Yes, sir.
Chris,
Thank you for bringing that up, Sean.
shout out
Thank
to
you
new
for
member Chris Carmona. Thanks, Chris Carmona, for membering up.
There you go.
Oh gosh.
That was great. No, and I'm being serious here. That was freaking great, Sean.
Well,
Thank
if
you.
if they show Battlefield and it looks good, we might have to squad up one night and actually play it.
Yes.
I ain't paying 70 for that. Yeah, your mom.
I ain't playing it until it goes to Game Pass.
That game's gonna take your whole hard drive up.
Wait, hold on, Nate. What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say, Nate?
It's not a day one Game Pass game.
Day one
That's what
Game
I'm
Pass
saying.
tomorrow?
No,
That's what I heard from Nate.
Not.
When is it? When is it then?
Not day one Game Pass.
Not day
game.
one.
Back for Blood.
It's an EA game. It'll eventually go to Game Pass.
It'll
They
go
all
to EA.
do.
Yeah, it'll go to it's EA.
It's
Play
not a
service,
day
whatever.
one Game Pass release.
Yeah. Yep.
So if anyone's hoping for that, don't.
Well, if it looks fun, I'll get it, and then anyone else who gets it can squad up. We'll do.
I'm definitely gonna play it. I'm definitely gonna make a video whenever it comes out.